cool. This worked. Okay. Anything? Okay. I think I should be live now. Okay. Great. Excellent. The last live stream was taken down because somehow, don't know how, I was in violation of the God, I was somehow in violation of community standards. I don't know how. I hadn't done anything yet. No one was even watching yet. So that was interesting. I do have to really quickly just update the links in the description though, because I had to send this to a different live stream from last year. And it is not where we actually wanted things to go, because it has last year's fundraising link in the description, which is cool. I am fundraising for Camp Lilac, which is this great summer camp in Ohio for trans youth, and that's very cool because it's a place that's accepting and supportive and really focused on youth, and that is great. I'm going to share a new link now. Okay, that one appears to work. I don't know, maybe as soon as people see it, it will not work. But hopefully someone joins and I will have someone to talk to. YouTube can be frustrating sometimes because on the one hand, it's my favorite platform, but on the other hand, it hates me. I mean, I don't know what standards of the community I was breaking. Nothing has happened yet, which I just, why doesn't YouTube like me? I'm very likable. I mean, well, maybe that's putting a lot, but I'm very well researched and kind, which is almost the same as being likable, except it involves me being right about things when I put them on the internet. And isn't that more important? Isn't it more important to not spread misinformation somehow by fact-checking everything rigorously before you say anything about it publicly? I think it's more important. There we go. Let's make sure. Okay. So there shouldn't be a problem with AJ joining. The link should still work for them. And then Azrael is here, which is a relief. That means someone else is here and they have confirmed that the live stream is working, which is awesome. Still just gonna keep tweeting some stuff out and sharing this in a couple Discord servers. That way actual people are here. So I should say, I have never been to Camp Lilac, neither as a camper because the camp was founded in 2017 when I was 23 years old. But also not as a staff member because I hate the outdoors. And I'm not that fond of the indoors either, if we're being honest, but I hate outdoors. But I will fundraise for it so people who do like it can join and have fun and be in a supportive environment where they get validated on what their gender is, because that's super cool. Oh, for people who don't know, I use she, them pronouns, so that's helpful. I got a Captain Marvel mug with me today with some mint tea. I'll be drinking this throughout the night. Quentin says hi. Callie says something is important. I don't remember what I was talking about. Probably being accurate. Me being right is always what's most important to me. Probably to the people that follow me too, because it's good to know that I'm not lying to them. Okay. I just had the other live stream all set up. So, we're going to make sure the links in the description are accurate, because that is important. The fundraising link will not do anything if it's not sending you to the right place. Okay, so if someone could just let me know if, see, at the top of the description box, or the Chamber of Secrets, as I like to call it, right at the top there should be a link to learn more and the Camp Lilac website, and then a donate link that is just a bit.ly/Lilac Katrina. If you could tell me in the comments if that's what you see, you might have to refresh it to see that, but it is important to me that new people get to join and have accurate information. So let me check while we're here. Sorry. How the fundraiser is doing. So my goal is to raise $850 for Camp Lilac. That would provide for one full scholarship to camp for a camper who's on the lower income comes from a low income family, like mine was growing up. I went to several camps as a child. I'm guessing none of them were as cool as Camp Lilac because they made me do sports, which I was not a fan of. And I did not get enough time in arts and crafts. Pretty sure there was some explicitly anti-LGBT stuff too growing up. But you know what? Maybe that's why I hate the outdoors now. That's fine. Okay, so far, I have raised $21 of my $850 goal, but I think that's off to a fine start. We are, of course, just getting started. And there are all sorts of great things that you can get because of Camp Lilac when you donate. For me, I'd be happy to make you some fan art or send you a personalized book recommendation. That's all really cool. Azrael says it doesn't link, it just has the text for the fundraiser. Okay. I can fix that, I think. Let's try. Thank you for letting me know if the link worked. Let's hopefully we can fix that. Great. Now the most important thing about donations. Oh, AJ is here. Great. Okay. I had it turned off so I could not hear you. Let me just put you in and live. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Great. You should be live now too. Which is great.
Cool. Hi.
Hey, AJ. How was your Seder?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
It was good. It's a little bit still going on, but things are fast and loose on the second night.
Sure. This is definitely something only you have experienced, and I believe you. Which
I might be BSing that a little teeny bit, but you know.
it's fine. You know, from what I understand, one of the points of Seder is to get to see people you don't normally see very often. And that's not a thing that's
true.
happening now.
No, it's super not. Although I am here with my grandparents, and that's nice. They're still all eating dinner anyway, so I'm not skipping anything.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad that you're able to spend time with your grandparents. I see you have a cool Camp Lilac t-shirt on. That's
I do,
fun.
yeah.
Yep. Oh, Char says hi, and they stopped in to say good luck, which is sweet. And Quentin wants to know who is this AJ person, which is a great opportunity to ask. AJ, who are you, and what's your job at Camp Lilac?
Good question. My name is AJ. My pronouns are they, them. I am the operations director of Camp Lilac, which basically means I kind of do all of the things behind the scenes that make everything kind of happen. Consider me like admin extraordinaire times 10. But right now, my main focus is I'm helping orchestrate this fundraiser, and I'm also helping run the online camp community that is based in the Discord server.
It is an excellent Discord server as well. I think you're doing a
I'm
great job.
really happy. Thank you. I'm really happy with. We've only been running for a few weeks now, and we already have so many people in there, including a lot of folks for whom this is the only opportunity to be out, and it warms my heart seeing people have these spaces to embrace themselves.
Yeah, and that is really important, especially as I'm given to believe that is the whole point of Camp Lilac, to have a place specifically where you can be out safely and in a supportive environment. And
Exactly. And, I guess it's our motto is, a safe place where gender diversity is the norm. It's not just where you can, feel comfortable being yourself, but everywhere you go in the world, cisgender is the norm. So you are being different by existing as a trans person, even if you are coming from a loving and accepting household. And so we try to build this space where being gender diverse is the norm. And so you don't have to feel like an other to be existing in that space as a trans person. And we're trying to build that same feeling and that same kind of community in the Discord.
that is super cool. Online spaces are so important to being organized and accepted, and it's also nice that in an online space you don't have to tell your parents where you are.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah. And we take a lot of care to make sure that this space is heavily regulated so that only the people who are safe to be there are in there. So we, when you come into this space, you enter into the general server, but everything else is pretty private so that kids can feel safe talking about their experiences and their identities without worrying that their parents might join the server and see what's going on.
It is pretty cool. I also like that although I am in the server, I know there are also rooms that I am not in, because for one thing, the youth confuse me all of the time with their
Same.
they got their TikToks and their slang, and they're just making up things sometimes, I think, to confuse me.
Yeah, now try being the 21-year-old mod trying to understand what's going on. Yeah, we have spaces that are specific for youth. We have spaces that are specific for adults. We actually also have spaces that are specific for folks who have attended camp before, so that it can be a kind of like reunion space for, getting to actually see all of these people that hopefully they'll still be able to see later in the summer, but just in case, we can have these more, I don't want to say exclusive, but defined spaces.
Yeah. Oh. I'm glad Quentin in the chat has agreed that the youth confuses them as well, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like feeling left out. I want to support the youth from a distance.
I enjoy hanging out with the youth in the Discord, but I think that they are well served having a space where they can,
Not
be
have
kids without. Yeah, in the same way that gender diverse people are well served having a space where they don't have to worry about explaining gender diversity, the youth deserve a space where they can be youths without having to explain everything they say to us old people.
Yeah.
I say as a person still in undergrad.
I mean, that's okay. I feel like you're at about the age where you're about the youngest friend I should have.
I get that a lot.
I mean, I'm turning 26 this year. I've been married for a couple years. I should not be hanging out with teenagers or be in teenager only places. As just that's a good choice.
I do want to emphasize, this Discord, the main like general and all of those, they are for like all ages. We say it's a family friendly space, but it really is because for a lot of these younger trans folks, it can be really meaningful and really important to see the older. Like we have an older, I don't want to say older. We have a trans woman who's in her 30s in the server, and a little while ago she was chatting with some trans feminine people under 18, and like getting to meet someone over the age of 30 who's trans and who is experiencing life as an adult, who like that's a really important part, and having this like intergenerational community, because for a lot of folks who like through synagogue, church, whatever, your neighborhood, family, you have intergenerational spaces, and sometimes we have to build those for people.
Yeah, that is definitely important. I'm happy I can be a part of it in a small way. That's always good.
You're a part of it in a pretty significant way, I think.
Thank you.
You're participating in the Discord and you're fundraising for us, which is awesome. And this isn't even your first year at it, and we didn't have a Discord server for you to come participate in last year.
That's true. That having a place to go when I have questions has been really helpful for me personally. Yeah. Actually, I believe I do have one thing we can get into is what is the goals with the Camp Lilac fundraiser this year? I already talked about my personal goal to provide one scholarship, but what's the rest of the money being used for?
Yeah, so we set a pretty high goal this year. Our overall total, we're aiming for 40,000, which we, especially with the pandemic and with all of our other like in-person fundraising avenues being cut off, and a lot of folks have less of an income than usual. So we're aiming to have a full scholarship fund for however many campers need it. And then this $40,000 total will also include necessities. So that's food and electricity and stuff for camp, but it's also, we have a lot of campers who come to our space who maybe don't have everything that they need. Either they forgot it at home or they don't have access to it at home either. So we have blankets and pillows, toiletries, stuff like that, extras for kids. And then we also have an activities fund because, no summer camp is complete without some, the basic activities like archery, swimming, etc. But also we like to have dance parties, and we do a lot of karaoke, open mics, stuff that a lot of these kids aren't comfortable participating in a greater community space. In this space where gender diversity is the norm, it's a lot more exciting and engaging for a lot of these kids to be able to go to, not prom necessarily, but they can dress up for a night and go have a dance party, and all of these things we want to be able to give kids like a proper experience with the arts and crafts, with the like a real full dance party or karaoke and stuff like that. So to be able to make this space and have the materials they need, that's a huge part. So a bunch of this will go for the activities fund. We also we mentioned the scholarship fund already, and it's also going to things like staff training. So all of our staff members, or many of our staff members, get first aid certification, and we also have a budding staff and training program that is a really fascinating and really exciting opportunity for kids who are kind of between camper age and staff age, usually late 17 or 18, just graduated high school kind of deal. And it's to kind of get them prepared to be counselors, and also to learn more about stepping into the world as a trans adult and as an adult in general, and learning about independence and autonomy and leadership skills, kind of like GLA, which I'm sure you've talked about before on your channel.
I haven't talked about it in about a year, so if people...
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's been a year since it happened.
Fair.
So GLA is the Granger Leadership Academy, which is very similar to what AJ just described. It is held by the Harry Potter Alliance and is a wonderful place where people get training to how to be a better activist and a better organizer, affect change in the world, and just be around people that really like you.
Yeah, that's, real important. So yeah, it's really going to fund every single aspect of camp. From our current space, our rent is about $18,000, and we also have, the food and toiletries, supplies, just everything that it takes to make camp really special for people. And especially in a year like this, to be able to make it happen at all in spite of everybody's financial difficulties.
Yeah, it's I imagine it's going to be even harder this year as for lots of families there's more unemployment right now. It's been harder for families who are already food insecure, whose kids usually got lunch at school, and so many other things that listing them would take a long time, and I don't want to talk too much about the virus right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's fun. I'm just making a lower third for us because I forgot I didn't have the ones from last year on my computer still.
Oh.
Because that was my plan. That was my whole plan. So I'm just putting that up with our pronouns.
Awesome.
While I do that, you released a song back in 2018 called The Inherent Transness of the Werewolf Condition.
I did. That's the thing that I did.
Now, I will put a link to that song in the chat because I did find it on camp and listened to it several times. I was gonna buy it, but then my computer crashed. So we can't play it on the live stream now, so I can just recommend other people listen to it.
I might a little bit have died if you had played it on the live stream.
I also considered that could happen.
Yeah. And I guess that's, I know you wanted me to talk a little bit about that and how that song happened, which I guess this is a good segue for that. Because there are two voices in that song, and they are both me. There's a higher voice and a lower voice that I used this song as a way to track my vocal transition when I started testosterone. And so it's a really powerful moment. I feel like it's really important to me that that's how I did that, and that exists in the world as this cool comparison. But also whenever I listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I sounded like before testosterone. And I did write the first half of that song, or I wrote the whole song before I knew what testosterone was actually going to be like, and then I got myself stuck in that song by recording all of the higher harmonies before I would be able to change the lyrics. So it's a really interesting look at how I was thinking then versus how things have actually turned out.
Yeah, I really did enjoy that. I liked that you had kind of had an idea of how things would go when you started testosterone. I actually wanted to talk to you a little bit about the chorus, which has line one dose and I'll be fine. So I guess I wanted to ask, because it was written before you had actually taken any testosterone, how did it feel when you were first able to get it?
It was definitely as liberating as I hoped it would be to get going. Not necessarily because, I do want to make sure everybody knows you can't just, get one T-shot and then you're done. You do still have to do it. I do every other week. Some people do weekly. But that feeling of finally starting I personally struggle a lot with starting things in general. And so and I know that that's a common thing, but it's very liberating to you took the first step, and now, yeah, you're going to have to keep taking steps to keep going, but this is it. It's real. You've put the thing in your body that's going to start making changes happen, that's going to make your life better. And even though then in the weeks coming after that, I didn't start noticing changes for a really long time, it was that feeling when I first went in, I was terrified, but it was this moment where it finally became real. And it's not even exactly that it's a like no turning back now moment, so much as just like I've broken through the barrier to getting started. And that felt better than most of the changes themselves did, honestly.
That is really cool. I think what you said was accurate. It's you have to take testosterone on an ongoing basis, but also it can be difficult to acquire. For a lot of reasons, partially because testosterone in the United States is considered a scheduled drug, for everyone that didn't know in the chat. And that kind of puts up several barriers to it. It's also kind of expensive because nobody in the United States has affordable health insurance because that's not a thing that exists here for whatever reason.
Yep.
And I thought that was a really nice allegory with the Wolfsbane potion, which we know is both difficult to brew and has some expensive ingredients.
Very much does, yes. That was something that, especially because this is something that isn't universal, but for me, I have a lot of anxiety around needles and stuff, and so that I felt like was a really interesting parallel with how Wolfsbane is unbearable, and if you make it bearable, then it doesn't work anymore. And so, like, I stab myself in the leg every other week, and it, is really anxiety-inducing every time. But I have to do it in order to keep living the, like, peaceful and, like, good mental health life that I'm living. And similarly, even though it's absolutely terrible to have to drink Wolfsbane, Remus keeps doing it because he has to in order to live this peaceful and happy life.
Yeah, it's a shame you can't add sugar to it.
Yeah. Probably adding sugar to testosterone wouldn't be much better.
Yeah, I don't think you should inject sugar right into your body. Maybe just eat that.
Yeah. I always did used to get ice cream every time I got a shot when I was a kid because that's how bad my anxiety was.
Aww.
I should pick that back up. Just get ice cream every other week. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that sounds like a really nice, like, self-care thing to do. I wonder if that's why Lupin always had chocolate on him.
Yes, definitely. Especially if he's trans, he's got a lot of self-care and that yeah.
Mm-hmm. You think it was the Dementors, but in fact, he just really does not like the taste of his medicine and just wants to wash it down with something.
And who knows, maybe with the wizard version of testosterone, like, I don't know where I'm going with this, never mind. I was just thinking about teenage Remus getting his period and the full moon in the same week, and then just, like, eating nothing but chocolate for a month.
Oh, that sounds hard. I mean, it sounds delicious, but it sounds hard. It's kind of... Okay. I think, or moving on to that, there's another line in the song that I found really striking about maybe Remus's time at Hogwarts. Better late than never. I put an end to my strife. It's been over a dozen years. It's time to live my fullest life. And that made me think a lot about how Remus found this really great community that was both accepting and supportive of him and, helped him out with his transitioning as a werewolf every week, somewhat illicitly. And as a trans person. We'll get to it. We'll get to the headcanon.
Sorry, I'm very passionate about Remus Lupin as trans.
But I think what I wanted to talk about is maybe how Camp Lilac also provides the Marauders for the campers and how it helps them out. Just like
Wow.
a little Hogwarts.
Oh no, I'm gonna cry.
That's my goal.
Yeah. That's really sweet, and I never thought about it that way, but that's so true.
Yeah.
Oh my
This is what
god.
happens when
Okay,
I listen to any song, by the way.
that's fair. It's yeah. When you said that, I know you probably had like thoughts about just the general having this community space where like welcome and comfortable feeling themselves. But since we already talked about that a bunch, I was thinking about specifically we had one cabin last year who were they got so close over the course of the week that they like started referring to themselves as family, and like the Marauders, they came up with this nickname. I can't remember what it is now off the top of my head. I think it started with an S, but it was just like this whole cabin including their counselors, they were so close that now they like still have a group chat, and every single one as we interviewed them made sure that we knew that they really needed to be placed in a cabin together again. And they like a year later, even still, they're all so close, and it's amazing to hear about that. And they have kind of their own little Marauder thing going, although I hope with slightly less rule breaking, because rules at camp are, you know, slightly more life and deathy than Filch's list of whatever, because we're in the middle of the woods and all that.
I I would hope they went to the Forbidden Forest less.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Yeah, less Forbidden Forest, but just as much, I think, siblinghood and family and caring and support.
That is beautiful. Um, and I guess it's really great, partially because gender is hard, and it's hard to be the only person that's different in any condition, but it's especially to be the only trans person in the room and having a place where you all belong and you're all going through something together and helping each other grow is very sweet.
Similarly, actually, to the way that I'm not sure how like direct this comparison is going to work, but what I'm thinking about is how, in the same way that not all of the Marauders were werewolves, we have like within our community, it's not all trans people. We have some of the most amazing, like real, not performative allies. We have like cis staffers, and some of them are the most like beloved. I don't want like to be clear, it would also be like awesome if this whole space was just trans people, because cis people are not necessary in order to make and complete a space. But following along that connection, we have the like it's not we aren't on our own. There are supportive people out there who will see us and see our struggles and do their best to help us. And I have made some of those friends, some of them through camp and some of them through the Harry Potter community. And they are so important. And honestly, like, I think that having trans people and cis people and gender diverse people who don't like either of those labels all in this community together makes it feel more real and more complete.
That is wonderful. I hope there are a lot of animaguses. Just
Me too.
That is very nice, especially I guess since when I started with last year's fundraiser, I mean, I thought I was cis, and so much has changed.
Oh, what a mood. Me when camp started.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess did you know that now your mom started this? So did you figure out your gender when camp first started in like 2017?
So it's an interesting progression of events, actually. The I realized to myself, officially came out to myself as trans, I guess, just before all of this started. I was looped in on the camp plans in December of 2016, and then we had our first summer session in 2017. When camp plans started, I was only out to myself. And then we started working on it. And then I came out to my mom when I had already been working on camp stuff for a few months. And then I like gradually came out to all of the small team working on it together. And it was actually during camp on my 19th birthday that first year that I came out to all of the rest of my extended family.
Wow. I never knew that about you. A lot of the questions
Yeah.
I'm asking I knew about.
This one you didn't, yeah. And then a month later at LeakyCon 2017, which was my first LeakyCon, I came out to the rest of the world.
I guess, so did you find, do you think it was easier to kind of access things and like information and testosterone knowing that you had a community there that was going to back you up and help you navigate what is honestly a complicated system?
Very much, actually. It's funny story. The Quentin who is in the chat, I'm sure still, he and I became close at camp that first year. And up until that point, I didn't think that I could ever go on testosterone. I didn't really know what it could do for me. And I was scared about it. And I didn't really think that I could do it on my own. And then over the course of those 2 weeks, he was telling me about how like he had testosterone waiting for him at home and he was going to start it. And we talked a lot about it. And I met with all of these other cool trans people, some of whom were on testosterone, some of whom weren't. And over the course of that, it felt more doable for me having seen all of these people doing it. And it felt like something that was an option for me after having entered that space. And then that was about when I started writing this song. And then I went on testosterone Halloween 2017. So yeah, I think there's a pretty direct correlation there.
I guess my question is, what did you go as for Halloween that year?
Wait, I have to go look. I think it was, yes, it was because I dressed up to go to the doctor to get my first shot. I dressed up as Hufflepuff trans James Potter.
Oh,
Hufflepuff because I didn't have a Gryffindor tie. And yeah, so I wore, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I do every year, but I did go, because I also had canon James Potter as non-binary, because I am James Potter, see the hair. Yeah, so that was, because it was also really symbolic for me because the other half of all of this was the Harry Potter community helping me get more in touch with all of this. So that was all of it coming together.
in the chat, Quentin has confirmed that he is still here and trying his best to be a positive trans role model.
Hey, Quentin, thank you for being trans.
Always.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
he's yelling. This is so the great part about camp having been around for a few years now is we have some camp inside jokes. That's one of them.
Such a gratitude. It's lovely to that's an inside joke, just an adoption of gratitude and thanks.
Yeah.
I think now is a good time to talk about Remus Lupin being trans. I know you're really excited for that.
Yes.
So there's one more quote that I wanted to talk about in your song. I let go of the cycle that captured my days. I'm saved by a potion, no longer bound to a phase. And I read that as how being a werewolf is often compared to having a uterus because of the menstrual cycle. It's awful, it's painful, it's on a regular schedule for some reason, which is helpful, but not that much. And when you take testosterone, your menstrual cycle may go away. I am not a doctor, but I do know it doesn't always go away, and that's important to say.
Yes. It typically goes mostly away. It varies when, like for me, it stopped pretty much immediately, and it did come back very briefly when all of this happened because I had an insurance issue, and I was without it for a little while. But typically, it does fully or mostly go away within a few months of starting testosterone, and then actually shortly, typically they recommend, I think within about 5 years, you have a hysterectomy because it's like dangerous to have it all in there.
Yeah.
And I realized that was a tangent that wasn't answering your question about Remus Lupin.
But, sometimes it's important to specify medically necessary things.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
I use this platform for educational purposes.
Yeah. Like, you might need a gynecologist appointment occasionally. Keep in touch with their doctors. It's important. But I
Yeah.
guess my question is, are all werewolves who take wolves being trans, or is it just Remus who is trans?
I'm going to go with neither. Not all werewolves. Like, being a werewolf who takes wolfsbane doesn't automatically mean you're trans, but there are a lot of trans werewolves. Remus Lupin specifically, though, is very close to my heart and is definitely trans, not just because of this allegory. I don't know if allegory is the right word. It's been a long day. But also just like, I have a lot of feelings. Yes, I think that that's like a really powerful connection. And to me, getting like back on a serious topic for a minute, like J.K. Rowling said that Remus Lupin was supposed to be a metaphor for AIDS, but I disagree. Like, that's, I mean, a lot of the queer Harry Potter fan community has kind of rejected that for its various problematic reasons, but I feel like there is such a powerful story to be read in that. And yeah, I guess technically it's the same idea of like for all werewolves with the cycle and the everything, but for me very specifically it's Remus Lupin because of the way his story played out, with having this group of friends who he was scared to tell that he had to hide every part of his life from, and then they find out and they open their arms and accept him, and they go out of their way to change their behaviors in their lives to help him. And it's about this chosen family narrative and this personality of like grabbing onto these people who support you and holding on to them and doing everything that you could possibly do, even if it's less wise, like looking the other way when they're bullying people while you're a prefect, to hold on to those people. And having that like quiet nature of like this instinct to blend in and stay behind the scenes and keeping quiet but being proud, and just this, the whole vibe of Remus Lupin is very trans. And if he's going to be a metaphor for anything, I think beyond just the obvious connection of the monthly cycle, there's a lot there to see that connection instead.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think we all have collectively decided that J.K. Rowling's opinion doesn't matter. Just, it's fine.
Yeah. I'll stop right there.
Yeah, the author is dead, and specifically dead to me. And that's it.
Long live the fandom.
Yep. So, quick fundraising update before we talk probably more about Remus Lupin, most likely, because we like him. Thank you so much, Callie, for donating $20. We are now up to 41 of my $850 goal. Thank you so much. That's going to be a real help to somebody. I believe $20 can provide a camper care bag for one camper, which is great.
And they're super important because a lot of these kids come, I'm sorry to take this opportunity to like dive on that again, but the care bags are going to have like, well, first of all, they're going to have a bag to carry their stuff around, but we're going to give them water bottles and notebooks, and we're aiming to find some camp-themed fidget toys as well. But, a lot of people, when they pack for camp, they're going to come with just the thing. Even if they have the necessities, they don't necessarily have the, like, way to document and things to bring with them. So we like making it more than just the bare bones. We want to provide the kids with stuff to have this full experience, and draw or write, and having, you know, fidgets are also very important. I'm very hung up on those fidgets. I really hope we can make those happen. But it's just, you know, it's having these, like, giving them a thing that they can carry with them and bring also into their life afterwards. That's a tangible symbol of, we, like, oh, you have just arrived here, have this thing because we care about you and we want you to feel a part of our community. And then also going out into the world, this reminder later. And it's a handy way to carry your stuff around camp.
All important things. And it is like...
Sorry, I just heard my family saying blessings off in the background again.
I'm just gonna pretend that that was for all of us.
Definitely.
I mean, your grandparents don't know me, but I'm just gonna assume they want blessings for me as well, and that's nice.
They absolutely would.
Yeah. And it looks, you know, good. Please, if anybody else is considering donating, do that. You can also share my fundraising page. It is down in the Chamber of Secrets. It's the second link. It's very easy to find. And it would help people, and helping people is awesome.
Helping people is very important, especially trans people. Trans people deserve help.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that was really all of the questions I had for you about on the inherent transness of the werewolf condition. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Not about the song especially. Did you have other things on our list?
Well, no, not really. I kind of thought that would take a little bit longer than it did, which...
I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is about... We're just under 1 hour of this, which is more or less what I wanted to do.
Oh,
It's not bad.
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can always ramble about Harry Potter or about camp or any of this for a little longer if you need. I could talk nonstop about most trans things and most Harry Potter things.
Yeah. Do you happen to have a Harry Potter book near you?
Hang on, I have to unplug my laptop. I do. It's under, actually, this cute little... Oh, no, it fell behind a thing. This is also actually our camp director, I don't know if you can see it, was featured in this as one of Cleveland's most interesting people. So that was really awesome, and that happened to be sitting on top of my Harry Potter book that I just threw as you're getting this thrilling tour of my room at my grandparents' house. Yes.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad to find out. Okay, I think we can do a quick sacred text reading. You have the third book?
Yes.
Cool. All right, let me grab my copy. So, well, first of all, I'm glad that your camp director is one of the most interesting people in Cleveland. Being from Pittsburgh, I have to assume that the bar is low, but that's fine.
Well, she was chosen as one of the most interesting people specifically because of camp, so...
Yep. Oh, no. My third book is at the bottom of all the books.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's the one with Remus Lupin is in it the most, so it's good.
True. Very important.
It's not like the fifth book where you get Remus, but also... Come on. There we go.
I mean, also it's like sad Remus.
Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban is happy Remus when he's in his happy place.
Yeah. It's always confused me why he wasn't hired before Lockhart, but what can you do?
Because Dumbledore doesn't want Remus to be happy ever.
He's not a great friend, Dumbledore. He's also maybe not the best educator. He had to know something was up with Lockhart.
Yeah. I think, didn't he say that basically, at one point he basically said that he only hired Lockhart because Lockhart was the last like person willing to do it, which isn't great for your recruiting skills. Also find that curse and cancel it.
Okay. So I don't know if you're familiar with Harry Potter and the Sacred Text.
I sort of. It's been a very long time since I have listened.
That's okay. It's been a long time for me too, so we will figure it out. So we're gonna do something called a Lectio Divina, which is the one that doesn't take any preparation in advance.
Cool.
So this is based on a Christian practice where you pick a sentence at random and then you talk about it.
Okay.
Christianity is not that complicated. We're fine, but it's okay. So I'm gonna ask for someone in the chat to pick a number between 1 and 400.
435.
Yep, 435.
I used a different copy of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban to make a paper sculpture, so I know very well how many pages there are in this book.
What was it a sculpture of?
It was like abstract kind of thing. It was kind of shaped like a flower, but basically the project was to have lots of something and make something out of it with a repetitive motion. So I folded it like an accordion and then did a spiral.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a way to share pictures, but I can send it to you later if you want.
Yeah, I would like that. All right. Quentin's picked 394.
Oh my God, Quentin.
I have a feeling there's a reason for
There
that. Is it
We'll
that's
turn
the
to
snake?
page 394. Yep.
All right. I admire that, Quentin.
Oh, that's a good page, though.
It is a good page. Way to go, Quentin. Okay. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. All right. Pick between 1 and 14. We'll give them a minute. There's probably a little bit of lag. So, as we wait for that, there are basically 4 steps to a Lectio Divina. The step 1 is to just say what is literally happening in the book, which we can do as soon as we know which sentence we're doing. These are all pretty short paragraphs, so I think we can do the full one, because I think the longest one is 2 sentences. I can handle that. Alright. And, just gonna wait for someone to say a number. Oh, Callie says 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay. So that is the sentence about halfway down the page. And then he felt solid ground beneath his feet, and everything came into focus again. Great sentence.
Yeah. Oh.
So, AJ, what is literally happening here?
Quite literally, Harry has just stopped traveling backwards in time, and he has arrived in the past 3 hours, where their few past selves are about to walk by.
I guess I would add that Harry doesn't know what's happening yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. He doesn't know yet what's happening. He just thinks that he has been in a, like, it kind of reads like apparating, honestly. But he has just been relieved from this weird sensation.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I have... The future they were from doesn't seem very bright. I mean, his godfather's about to die. Buckbeak was murdered. a lot of bad things happened. Or will happen shortly.
Will have happened.
Yeah. I don't know how the timeline really works out here as far as like parallel universes that time turners create. But
I think the idea is that all of this had happened all along,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So, step 2 of Lectio Divina, we're going to basically read it again. And I believe the second step we look for allegory, so for what it points to within this story or other stories.
So, but specifically within story context, not like life.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so within other parts of Harry Potter, but if you have another fictional reference, go for it. Would you like to read it?
Sure. And then he felt solid ground beneath his feet, and everything came into focus again.
Sounds so stable.
It kind of makes me think about, I don't know if this is so much an allegory thing, but it makes me think about when he, at the end of the seventh book, when he's landing in the world of the living after having been in the King's Cross space with Dumbledore.
Yeah, that is very cool because of course he also didn't entirely know what was happening then when he went on that journey.
Yeah. And it's, well, I mean, that's kind of the story of Harry Potter is he's constantly confused because no one's telling him everything.
Yeah, we should tell kids stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we really should. But I think also in the context of this book, like that at the end of every book, Harry has that moment of landing and everything is kind of stable again after the adventures or whatever. And like it's interesting that that's happening kind of in the middle where he's just ended this first phase of this end of book adventure and now he has to go back in and make everything right, but he's having this brief moment of okay, everything is solid for a minute, the world is done spinning, I'm not being attacked by a dementor, we can like kind of recoup and get like get everything sorted, except
Yeah.
then he can't, but
I mean, I guess for me, just now when you read it, I also thought of the first time he uses a port key to get
oh
to the
yeah.
World Cup, where, it's very similar. He is pulled in by something, a lot of things happen, it's very disorienting, but then he just falls on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
The
And then
ground
I mean
is.
later, oh, sorry.
I was just going to make a joke about the ground still being solid. You go.
Oh, I was just gonna say later, back to metaphorical ground, when he gets sucked, like when his name comes out of the goblet of fire, and he gets sucked into this. Everything is unstable and everything is moving, and what's going on? And he's so confused. How did this happen? And then he, I think about, you could say he never hits the ground again because then he's in the tournament and then Voldemort's back and whatever. But I think about that first time again to do with Sirius, where he's like freaking the heck out, and then he writes to Sirius, and then Sirius shows up in the fire, and they have this grounding moment where he gets to talk to this parent figure about what the heck is going on. I'm 14 years old and my name just got pulled out of a goblet that's supposed to be just for adults, and now I'm gonna die again. And he kind of gets everything like chilled out for a minute with this supportive parent figure.
Yeah. Which is really cool. I guess I'm just going to take this opportunity to once again plug the Camp Lilac Fundraiser. You should
Yeah,
donate because it's a restful place where people can recuperate and have supportive adults in their life and be on solid ground, literally and metaphorically.
exactly.
Okay, so the third step, I'm going to read it one more time. and then we're going
Okay.
to respond with how it makes us feel basically about our lives and reality right now. And then he felt solid ground beneath his feet, and everything came into focus again.
Oh, could use some of that right now. Although actually, I have been in Ohio for the last couple of weeks since all of this started. And being in this, I'm in the part of Ohio where I grew up, and it's very like woodsy and surrounded by nature. And being able to kind of be in touch with this space and having things coming into focus again while we're all like forcibly hitting pause for a little while and connecting with the ground and the space. So like in this very literal feeling solid ground and everything coming into focus again, being in this space, even though it's been for this very weird reason, I have been kind of like feeling solid ground beneath my feet again because I was going for so long. I'm about to graduate. And so I've been like going and going and going and constantly on the move. And like I had my 4-hour round trip commute to school. How many days a week? 4? And all of those things. And now I'm just kind of like here, and I haven't left beyond to go pick up my sister for the Seder. And just like, yes, I'm still doing all of my schoolwork and I'm still working on camp stuff and on HPA stuff because that's the other thing that I do. But I'm like on solid ground for a bit, pausing.
Wow. Yeah, for me, it just made me think of how I will try to go to bed at night, and to go to bed, I take off my glasses, and then I can't see anything. But then I don't
Mm-hmm.
fall asleep, and I just get mad that I can't see anything until I eventually get back up again. Because it's a thing that I need, that I purposefully take away from myself. Because going to bed at midnight sounds reasonable. Time's lost all meaning, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, I
And
mean, maybe I need to be more grounded in things, or to just accept that I'm going to stay up later.
well, I mean, I feel like it's a good encouragement to yourself to kind of like, because on the one hand you need the glasses to be able to physically see and be on like focus and solid ground, but also like taking off the glasses and not being able to see might help you find this inner focus to maybe someday fall asleep.
We can hope.
Because restful like sleep and resting and like re-energizing your body is an important part of feeling grounded.
Yeah. Yeah. And also maybe think of how I haven't gone outside in about a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to pick up a prescription, and I've been inside since then, which you're supposed to do. Everyone stay home if you can.
I will say you are, depending on what state you're in, you are still allowed to take a walk around your neighborhood as long as you maintain social distancing.
Now, my neighbors aren't committing to that, so I'm staying inside.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm very lucky to be kind of in the middle of nowhere, so I could walk without seeing anybody, let alone without having to like get out of anybody's way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a privilege that not everyone has.
Yeah, someone last time my husband and I went grocery shopping, somebody crossed the street, and not an intersection, mind you, crossed the street to where we were towards us, and I went, you know what? None of this is okay. Just staying. I'm staying inside as much as I can, and I like
Good.
it. And I have nice online communities to keep me grounded and like let me
Yeah.
know what's going on in the world, and that's
Yeah.
enough. Right.
Exactly.
There is a fourth step to Lectio Divina. We're going to be doing the secular version of it because this is Harry Potter. But it is basically, what will you do in your life in order to respond to the text that we read? It's pretty
Oh
straightforward.
wow. Yeah.
So I'm just going to
I
read the
think.
sentence.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to read it one last time.
Sorry, I forgot about that part.
It's okay. I always do too. And then he felt solid ground beneath his feet, and everything came into focus again.
There are so many different directions we could go with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a really important thing to keep in mind, though. You know, what are we going to do to stay grounded?
I think for me, it's just making me feel really grateful. And I'm trying to remember that I'm in a really privileged position to be able to work from home. But also that this is a temporary situation and it's very disorienting and it's very hard and we're all going through it together. But it is going to eventually end.
Yes. I feel like for me, you said going through it together, that's for me like the big sticking point is that we are going to, like, we are so lucky to be in this time and this space that we can still access each other and we can still do this together and we can have these live streams and we can have the group chats and the Discord servers and the video meetings, and we can still see each other's faces and talk to each other over the phone. And even if we're physically far apart, we can still socialize and have each other.
Oh, it's nice.
And so just like going forward, I'm just gonna focus on connecting with my people.
It sounds like a good plan. You got good people.
You too. You are one of my people.
You are too. Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, seems like a couple people have left the live stream since we started this conversation, which I get it. So I just want to remind everyone that's left that there are links down in the Chamber of Secrets right down here. And there is a link to both to the Camp Lilac website so you can learn more, and a link to donate. Both are good choices.
Oh, hey, we hit $2,000 while we were doing this live stream.
Yeah! Not
you,
me
everybody.
personally, but the whole camp, which is great.
I'm sorry, I should have said, yeah, the fundraiser overall.
I assumed it wasn't for me. My community online is wonderful and generous and really filled with amazing people, but I don't think collectively we have $2,000.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
That's why we encourage everybody to fundraise on their own, because if everybody had $41, then all we need is, wait, I can do this math. 100 people?
Yeah.
1,000 people?
Well, 1,000 people, yeah.
1,000 people to have $41. And we'll pass our goal.
Yeah. That's solid.
And some people had more than, like my grandparents, had more than a $41, so not everyone has to have a whole $41.
Yeah, I believe both of the donations I've gotten so far have been around $20, which is very reasonable. And
Yeah.
I'm getting paid tomorrow, so that's when I'm making my donation personally. But it's amazing.
But if everyone shares it, then we can all pitch in a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
Yeah, because I will say, I know it's been very hard financially for like a lot of people during this time, but sharing the fundraiser is a huge help because that means more people can see it, more people can share it, more people will know it exists, and eventually one of those people will have money.
Exactly.
Just gotta keep trying.
Oh, and because we use Give Lively, they take a much small, like they don't take any money, just the like processing platform or whatever. So even if you can give a small amount, Camp Lilac sees, like if you give $1 on a platform that takes like 25%, then the people only get 75 cents. But we see the majority of, even if you just give $1.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like I did not know that about Give Lively, but that's super cool.
Yeah.
And then
No, it's very nice.
I will also say, let me do some math real quick. The average donation right now is $69, which, I mean, nice, obviously, but don't feel like you have to give that much. If you just want to give $6, that's also really cool. 6 is a fun number.
Or $6.90.
$6.90. Do it, do it, do it.
I mean, even 69 cents would be nice.
I mean, at that point, maybe just go the full dollar.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll all take it, but maybe just the whole dollar.
$6.90, a dollar, $3, $7 if you're feeling magical. Every dollar counts.
I actually did the math and I did not know it was going to be this hilarious, but it happened. Math is fun.
Yup.
And if anyone donates right now, they will be the 30th donor. And that's a nice round number.
We love getting to 30. And in the back end, we see the lists of donations in 10 at a time. So we would have 3 complete pages, which would be awesome.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, I love when things are complete and that it's all the same. There's not a weird cutoff at the end for some reason.
It's very, very pretty,
Yeah.
as I call it. We have some pretty numbers.
Oh, Quentin says that you can't donate $6.90. It has to be whole dollars.
Oh, that's annoying.
Well, Quentin, just give 7.
7 is a magical number.
Or you give $6 and you get someone else to give $9.
Nice.
Yeah. We can make this work.
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things have happened since. Quentin says, count my $7 donation as a $6.90. We will do that, Quentin.
We absolutely will. And we appreciate your donation.
Yeah. This is absolutely the way to do it. I think, so I've actually been thinking about it. So last year I made a bunch of fan art for Camp Lilac, as you might remember. I did a Spider-Man, some She-Ra, Ms. Marvel. I did something from Star versus the Forces of Evil because someone said they would donate $20 if I did that.
Nice.
I don't have anything started yet this year. And I have what would be fair to say as some free time.
Yeah.
More than usual. So if anyone in the chat wants to request anything that would show up perhaps on Twitter or in a future video, I'm all ears. Although Quentin maybe
What would it be
gets...
eyes if they're suggesting in the chat?
Good point. Good point. Yep. But that, because of Quentin's donation, we are at $48 for my personal fundraiser, almost to a nice, round number. I do appreciate the $6.90 donation, Quentin, though. It's fantastic. Just amazing.
Indeed.
Yep.
Oh, wait, and now we're at 30 donations.
Yeah. Quentin made it nice and even and satisfying to look at in the data. It just,
We appreciate you very much in the back end here, Quentin.
Yep. Quentin's the best. I mean, I don't have access to the back end, but the best. My job is I'm a data organizer for my day job, which means all I do is look at data. Specifically, I look at the voter file for the state of Pennsylvania, which is interesting. And I love it when there's a nice, satisfying page count there where there's not any weird ends, where there's only like half as many names as everyone else. It's amazing. If I can pull a
Yeah,
list with just 100 people exactly, it's beautiful.
yeah. I used to do analytics for the Harry Potter Alliance, and I always looked forward to the months when we had 69 posts, or exactly in numbers of 10.
It's so pure.
Indeed.
Huh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I just yawned on camera.
You're okay. It was going to happen eventually to someone. Especially since I'm hoping to do more of these.
Fair. And yes.
Yeah.
And, we are all, I think, in a particularly exhausting time right now.
We are. I'm really, I had enough personal trauma that I didn't need this new collective one. But it's nice to go through things with people.
Yeah. That's the best part of all of this, is that since we're having this ability to connect to each other, we can be starting to process things together now. I mean, it's a little early for processing in some ways, but we have this built-in understanding that on the other end of this, we will all have gone through it.
Yeah. And I guess
And it's the same thing as what happens at camp.
It's the same thing that happens at camp. Amazing. It's just so great how camp is like everything good about this situation.
It really is. And I think everything good about every situation, but I'm biased.
You are, yes, you are incredibly biased. But
I do
we'll
think,
allow
though,
it.
that, thank you. I do think, though, that, you can never underestimate the power of having people all around you who implicitly understand what you're going through
Oh
in
yeah.
whatever context.
Oh yeah, did I So you know that I moved to Iowa for part of the year last year, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. So I don't know if you know this about Iowa, but it is incredibly white. Just the whole state.
Yep.
And I am not white, which was interesting. I am
I bet.
Asian, and because I live in Pittsburgh, I before I moved to Iowa, I also did a predominantly black neighborhood. So I moved to Iowa, and there was quite a culture shock that about 3 weeks into my job, I saw another Asian person, and we immediately hugged. There were tears. We were just both so happy because they were working on a different presidential campaign and also had not seen any other Asians in weeks.
Yeah. I, as a Jewish person and as a queer person, feel that very, very hard. I grew up going to a Jewish day school, and my obviously it's a little different for me because I white, but I don't always know how to behave like a white person because culturally it's so different. And so when I go into this space where I find another Jewish person, suddenly it's like, oh, and I relax. Like, I went to a school where there were only 5 other Jewish people for a single semester, and I had to leave. And I can't imagine how much worse it must be for people of color who don't have the option of disregarding or ignoring that part of their identity.
Yeah, it is complicated right now,
Yeah.
especially. The last video I made yesterday for Veda was actually about anti-Asian rhetoric, about something that happened like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important now to talk about anti-Asian rhetoric, although I do have it pretty easy in comparison because I often pass as white or just am mistaken for Latina, which is fine. It's my spouse's last name is Santiago. I understand the confusion, and it's fine. It is weird when people start speaking Spanish to me, but it's fine.
And assume that you know what they're saying.
Oh, I never do.
Yeah. Oh, that's so...
The Spanish phrase I use most frequently is "I'm sorry, I'm Asian."
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah.
It's just what I open with now. Because I worked on the Julian Castro campaign, and we talked to quite a few native Spanish speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they would approach me when I was like working events and like helping people out, and they would just start in Spanish, and I would go, "Lo siento, yo asiático, mi español es mal," and they just went, "Oh, it's okay." They talked so fast, and they were happy I was trying.
Mm-hmm.
Trying is
I mean,
good.
I think, and the fact that that is your response rather than like getting offended or something, I think is also probably encouraging. I don't speak with experience, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either, but I think it's nice that
Yeah.
people at least try to still connect, even if we don't speak the same first language. I think that's nice.
Yeah. And not to make everything about trans and about camp, but the whole idea of people trying, even if we don't speak the same language, is like that's how we all like how we come together and how we thrive and how we have this space is that like we recognize that not everybody is at the same level and not everybody has all of the same vocabulary, uses the same identifying terms, or like knows the same stuff about gender or about stuff in general, but we enter this space with this understanding that everybody is trying.
Yeah, it's nice to assume good intentions and know everyone is just doing their best.
I'm a Hufflepuff. Assuming good intentions is what I do best.
It's not what I do best at all, but I'm trying real hard to work on that. I am
It's a
a
noble goal.
I am a Ravenclaw with a lot of Slytherin tendencies, so we're working on it.
That's, I mean, it isn't something that comes naturally to everybody, but I think it's a good goal to work on.
Um, Although I did like, I talked to one voter back in August, I think, who wanted to meet with me, but before they met with me, they let me know on the phone they don't care about other people.
What? Like just straight up said, I don't care about other people?
Their exact words.
That's horrifying.
I was very confused, but also it gave a lot of context to the meeting that I had and how I planned it.
Yeah, I imagine it would.
They wanted to meet to discuss the plan for seniors on a presidential campaign, which is fine. I'm always happy to talk about policy with people, but they just let me know they don't really care about other people. And then I met them, and they were telling the truth. They do not. They do not. But we had a fast meeting. We talked about what we needed to talk about, and I just realized that I couldn't make them a better person. Then I
Yeah,
left.
and I mean, that's not like that's not our like your one's goal in life so much, you know, is like you don't it's not our responsibility to make other people better people so much as to assume that many people have that capacity, not necessarily that it's our responsibility to evoke that in them, but to assume that it's there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I think they. I could tell that they were trying. but they were also being honest when they said that they just didn't. And it's not okay, but
No, it's deep down, very
it's
deep down.
it's not anything I can do about in a 1 hour meeting at a library.
Right. And I mean, I guess that's my point more is that, like, to have the peace of mind going through the world when you encounter people like that, like, it's not your responsibility to try to fix them, but for your own peace of mind, you can know maybe it'll be possible for them someday.
We can hope.
Like, and even if it isn't, like, understanding, I guess, that, like, they are in a different state of understanding the world. Not a good one, not an okay one, but, like, that's not just what the world is.
Yeah. I met a lot of people who care very deeply about other people, so that was also good.
That is the bright side, I think, about campaigning, especially for the kinds of people you were campaigning for.
Yeah, I met a lot of really great people that not only cared about other people, but cared about issues that did not seem to affect their lives at all. Like, not even
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. But the nice thing about working for people you care about, who have good ideas, and who want to make the world a better place, is that the people that want to see you often have that in common.
Yeah, yeah, that's the real nice thing, I think, about not even just in, like, the political spectrum, but, like, with the people who I talk to. Obviously, we in general as camp or as the HVA sometimes encounter folks who are less of that, but, like, generally the people who I talk to, I know are coming, like, they're approaching this, like, because they want to know more about us, because they also care about trans kids and they also want to make lives better.
Yeah, we're doing some good in the world. That's the deal.
Yeah.
We're done hoping for it. We're just doing it now.
Yes. We graduated. It's time to do the good.
Yeah.
We already had our meetings with McGonagall.
Yeah, she's disappointed in me, but it's okay. I feel like I'd be really bad at transfiguration. I think I'd be
Yeah.
really
I
good
mean,
at charms.
I would be very bad at transfiguration in any, like, because they all, you have to picture things and I cannot visualize. So I would just be very, very bad at anything that required that.
Yeah. I,
That's my stance on transfiguration.
yeah, I feel like I do really well in only a few of my classes. Um, and I'd be
Well, hey,
really
sometimes
mad about it.
yeah, but Ravenclaw hyperfocus is a thing.
Yeah, and I've accepted that I'm bad at plants too, so at least
I think it
herbology.
takes a lot to be good at plants.
Yeah, I've accepted it. Alright. I think I might be out of things to talk about for right now. But this seems like
But
a good place to end it.
yeah, I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah. Thank you so much to everyone who donated. Please continue to do that. Share the pages. Get word out about Camp Lilac and the great cause that it is. And then, thank a trans person for being trans.
Thank you, Quentin.
Thank you, AJ. Alright. Yeah.
Thank you, Katrina.
Yeah. And I'm gonna turn off the live stream now. So now no one can